First, which has apprised DGCA that it is now able to operate 152 daily flights. This seems, for the very first time, some sort of commitment there coming in from Go First after it went under ceased operation or temporarily halted them in the month of May. Been more than a month now, approximately a month and 3 days. It was 3rd of May, if my memory recalls that correctly, Abhijit. It seems that Go First is saying that we have now our house in order and we will go back to air very, very soon.
Yeah, obviously that's one of the respites that the average flying passenger is looking for. And look at what's happened to the ticket, the tariff. I mean, the fares have risen, actually have hit the sky. So the sooner it comes back to operation, the better. But I really think the real crux will be arranging that 200 or 250 odd crores that it has been seeking from its lenders, because it needs an immediate injection of this cash to start operations. There are a lot of creditors, including unpaid employees. The employees have to be paid. This cash has to be first used in paying salaries of about, I think, about 700 to 800 employees, including pilots, including ground staff, including engineers. They have to be paid off. The companies that sold them fuel, aviation fuel, they have to be paid, and there has to be an arrangement of steady supply of fuel. I mean, otherwise, this proposal will remain on paper. So that is very important. Securing the financing, I think it's mentioned around 250 crores or 200 crores. That is very important, and the entire plan will rest on how quickly Go First can actually secure that funding. I think that's the moot point here. But obviously, if it can again spread its wings, the people to benefit the most, apart from definitely the employees, will be the average flyer in the Indian skies. Just look at the fares, I'm telling you again. Shweta.
All right. So this is a story of an airline which is currently under insolvency at this point, Amit, and they have huge debt on their books. I think according to the latest figures that are out, the airline needs to an upward of 200 crore rupees to resume flights. This is what the resolution professional has come on record to say, that this is the money we need to start operating. But the latest that we have is that they are okay to operate because they have access to 400 crore worth of government's emergency credit line. So they have enough money at their disposal to start operating. However, the debt is extremely high, and as Abhijit pointed out, it is owed to not just the lessors but also to the employees who've been working there without pay for approximately a month and a half, and to all the other people. They've got to pay them first, but before they start resuming their operation.
Yeah, okay. The 200, despite the government credit line emergency scheme of 400 crores, the Go First is still in talks with lenders to get that 200 crores. So that is the last resort.
Okay.
They want. The 200 crores, like you rightly mentioned, will go partly into the April and May salaries of the employees. They need to kickstart the operations of 26 planes, 675 pilots, 1,300 crew members. They need a minimum of 200 crores, including May and April salaries. Coming to the exact numbers, they have a total debt of a whopping 11,400 crores, out of which financial creditors alone account for 6,520 crores of that debt. In April, the Wadia Group had infused 250 crores into the airline, but obviously that has not been enough, because that is around the time that it stopped operations. So these are the kind of numbers we are looking at. The government emergency credit line guarantee scheme is the last resort.
Right.
So they are not going in for that right now. They are in discussions with creditors for that magic number of 200 crores that they need to kickstart operations of the airline right now.
Okay, so but they have options on the table, which is interesting, Krishna. They have options on the table. 200 crores is what they need in the interim to start operating, to go back to skies with a aircraft crew of approximately 22 planes, and the crew that they have so far. They haven't let go of any employees, because that was one of the clause that was put in when they went into bankruptcy that they're not supposed to let go of any existing employees with the existing staff, to pay the existing staff, to get its house in order. It needs 200 crores. It has that money that can come by the way of government's emergency line, but as Amit pointed out, that could be the last resort. But some good news there, some positive development there for people at large, that Go First could come back soon, and it is in everybody's interest for Go Back to take to skies.
Vijay, I totally agree with you. I mean, look at the fares. That's all we can say. Look at the airfares right now. Any sector, any route, doesn't really matter. They're all inflated. Go First. We need another airline in the skies, and Go First. All of this is very heartening news. And what's also heartening here is, Shweta, how they started out this entire process of rebooting themselves. Instead of just throwing in the towel, it seemed like when they went in for bankruptcy, it looked like they're throwing the towel. But the fact of the matter is that they were going back to the basics, going back to the drawing board to do this right. And all through it, as you rightly pointed out, they've held back their employees, they've held back their aircraft. You're looking at a fleet of 22 aircraft, and a fleet of 22 aircraft is no small fleet, by the way, Shweta. We've seen aircraft with smaller fleet than this operating. So 22 aircraft fleet for Go First to start with is a good number, and they've held on to the staff, which is also very good. They're sort of setting lessons for how to operate in the aviation space, civil aviation space, Shweta, from the looks of it all, because it's a very difficult space. It's been through absolute hell and back, during the pandemic. And as it's starting its recovery, how do companies need to go about, especially with the kind of vagaries you see in aviation turbine fuel and the general operational costs of operating an airline in today's day and age, and how to manage it when the times get tough and not go the kingfisher way, if I may, Shweta.
Okay, and remember, this is a sector where margins are extremely thin, profits come very, very rarely. To operate in such a climate, I think you have to give it to Go First for rebounding that quickly. And if I may say so, rebounding that, it is rebounding. It seems like it will come back now that it's sent out a proposal for the very first time to DGCA.
You mentioned thin margins. Let me just add, it requires 12 crores per day to run 26 aircrafts. Just Go First.
Crores.
So it's that expensive an industry.
Absolutely.